from the CyberHub bunker and studio. You're tuning in to the CyberHub podcast, Tech Corner. And now, join me in welcoming your host and CISO, James Azar.
Hey folks, welcome back to another Tech Corner here on the CyberHub podcast. I've got a old face that's invisible today. We're just going to look at a picture, but it's okay because it's an awesome Tech Corner. Robin Bienfait is joining me today. Robin, welcome to the show.
Thank you, James. I'm glad to be here. Lovely to be back.
It's lovely to be back, and while we should be doing this in person, unfortunately, we're having a bunch of technological challenges, and we couldn't get Robin's camera on. So for those watching, I apologize. For those listening, you won't notice a difference. Folks, but before we get started on today's show, please subscribe, like, share, give us a 5-star review if you're listening on a favorite podcast listening platform. If you're watching us on YouTube, please, sorry that Robin's camera couldn't be on, but don't let that be a hindrance if this is the first show you're tuning into. And please subscribe to our podcast. Today's show is also sponsored by our supporters, KnowBe4 and Wistic. Check them out below. Thanks to their amazing support, we're able to continue and bring this podcast to you, folks. Robin, it's been a while, but we had folks. We're going to talk a little. We're going to talk today about the Atlanta Cyber FinTech Conference that we're putting together. Robin and I and her awesome staff. For April 26th through the 28th of 2021. We moved it from March 8th through the 10th. There's a little bit of a date correction, but we moved it, Robin, for a few of reasons, right? I mean, a lot of it had to do with hopefully that COVID restrictions will be a lot less by then.
We're hoping that they'll release a lot more vaccine capability by that time. In addition, it warms up at that time of year, and will allow us, maybe with fewer restrictions, to have more people in person at Atlanta Tech Park. So we thought all those three things together warranted us pushing it out another 30 plus days.
Yeah, I mean, and let's be real, folks. Like, March is just around the corner. It's a very, very challenging point of time. This event is a hybrid event. So for those that are, listening from all over the world, you can attend the event, a hybrid. You go to atpcyberfintech.com or cyberhubsummit.com, and you can get all the details there and register for the event and be part of it. It's going to be 3 days. If you've never been to the Atlanta Tech Park and you're considering flying into Georgia to attend the event or driving in, or if you're local and you want to attend, the Tech Park is huge, Robin, right? How many square feet is the Tech Park?
We're 45,000 square feet on 4.5 acres. So we've got all kinds of parking and outdoor spaces. That's why it's called a park. And we have all types of open space, significant amount of open space. And then, of course, we've got, the typical auditorium and conference rooms that people can break out into.
And the event, for those that are considering attending the event, this is not your standard cybersecurity event. And I'm going to kind of do a little sales pitch here, guys, but, there's no better way to describe it than in actual words. Robin, myself, and Ashley, Corinne, and Julie all slaved around creating an agenda that's designed for multiple roles within a cybersecurity and IT organization, from our CIO, CISO track to our VP director track to our practitioner track for the analysts, the engineers, the architects, with unique breakout sessions for them and great networking and career advancement opportunities. For our VPs and directors, they have their own track as well, and CIOs and CISOs have also their own track. And Robin, you're hosting your famous luncheon that I'm so looking forward to.
Yeah, I used to, and I've been doing this now for over 3 years. I host twice a year an unplugged event, and it's typically what we call what's said in Vegas stays in Vegas kind of thing, is where we are CISOs or CIOs or CTOs, and sometimes a CEO or two, will go into a private conference where we can actually share and discuss some of the challenges we're dealing with, and some of the new technology that maybe we're engaging with. So it's a great way to get to hear what other people are trying to do in the same space, what things are working well, things that are giving challenge. And we play a few interactive type of scenarios. So it's quite an event. We've had, like I said, I've hosted 6 of these. Well, this will be my 7th. And we get anywhere from 65 to 75 C-levels at the table.
Awesome. And that's just one part of the event. The other part is we're doing a cyber breach simulation, a tabletop exercise. However, the tabletop exercise is over a few days, about 90 minutes each and every single day. You're going to get to experience live technology during these events. So you'll be able to actually see what specific products perform during a breach simulation, with the reports and everything else you get out of it. So it's a very dynamic event, Robin. To talk a little bit about just the vision behind this event, and kind of what are your goals for the people who attend this event to come out with?
Well, when I started this several years ago, my thought was, hey, here we are in Georgia. We're home of 5 of the largest cybersecurity companies in the Fortune 500. We have the new National Cybersecurity Headquarters out in Augusta. We have 160 plus FinTech companies from over 80 countries here. And we've been a global hub for innovation investment for 70% of the world's largest financial transactions processed through our metro area. So we're known as now a cyber hub and a FinTech or financial hub. And I thought, wouldn't it be great, because cyber crosses everything. It's a horizontal capability that we all should be aware of and embrace. And the vertical, being FinTech, is a little bit broader than just the new FinTech, but even some of the banking and the change in the banking environment needed to have this interaction. So this cross-section allows us to bring the best and brightest to the table to have this conversation. We have many companies already engaged: OneTrust, InterSystems, some new technology from SmartEye. We have a new bank platform for somebody who's building a bank for the unbanked. That's Capway. We have somebody from NCR, Paul Farley, coming out to speak. Ken Foster, the Chief Risk Officer from Pfizer. The CISO, Ron Green from MasterCard. The Chief Security Architect for Wells Fargo, Sam Phillips, will be with us. And Gautam Voss from FIS Global will also be with us. Those just to name a few. So we usually will have around 300 plus attendees. We have engagement for well over 75 plus C-levels, senior management, and 150 plus companies with over 80 plus countries involved. So yes, this will be a hybrid event because of the COVID situation, but we hosted a hybrid event over the summer, and it went very well. We were able to actually mesh what was happening here at the park with those that are virtually engaged. Got great feedback on the keynote speakers, the panels, the actual interaction with some of the people that were even virtual with some of the people on site. So we really look forward to making this one not only a success, but one that we can repeat in the future.
Right. And there's a lot of work that goes into an event like this. I think folks, putting together an agenda, Robin was kind enough to name some of the speakers, and obviously the list continues to grow each and every single day. The tracks also allow for safe social distancing, for really, and the park is large enough to where we can have different groups of people still being able to network and connect like the old times without really creating a mass attendance, right? like an enormous, just 200 people in one small space. That's not the case at all. And the other thing about the event that I think people really need to know is this isn't the kind of event where you're showing up for 9 hours over 3 days. The agenda is really broken down to allow you to show up for 3 to 4 hours, attend all the things within your track, and be able to go back for and continue your day. We know that cybersecurity and IT professionals are very, very busy, and being out of the office for multiple days is almost inconvenient. Although I think after the lockdown for the last nearly year, people are kind of ready to get out and kind of network and socialize and see people again.
Yeah, and I think the one thing we miss, and it's not just the socialization, is being able to really have a true dialogue with somebody.
Right.
And I think we're all a little bit videoed out. I sit on video calls probably for 6 to 7 hours every day, different times of the day. And to certain of it, you can tell that other people are seeing themselves in the mirror, so to speak, because I see them fixing their hair or straightening their glasses, and it's like, okay, I'm tired of looking at myself in reflection. And I really like to be able to interact with a team and draw on the board or discuss something and roll through a demo, or even just have a couple of folks that I've known just catch up and find out what else is going on out in this space that I should be thinking about or learning about.
Yeah, I'll agree with you this as a practitioner. One of the greatest challenges is obviously the conversations that are had when you're enjoying a beer or a scotch at an event are very different than on a Zoom call.
Yeah,
very, very different. Now, not to discount this for people who want to attend the hybrid version of the event. The hybrid version of the event does give you access to a lot of the great features, including being able to do video conferencing with other attendees, be able to sit live on the breakout sessions and actually ask questions. I think only 15% of the event will be pre-recorded. The other 85% is going to be live. So that's significant because as the person who's hosting this and with Robin planning it, we didn't want to do just another pre-recorded event that you're watching and you're interacting on chat. The idea is that you're able to interact and feel part of the event, even if you can't attend because of whether or not you've had COVID or you've got corporate or personal reservations about attending an event. You'll still be able to be an active part of it, and I think that's critical. Robin, don't you agree?
totally. And there's a way within the conference technology that allows you to move around through the venue virtually and actually have those interactions with the other people that are not only in the virtual space, but that are also here at the conference. So if you wanted to set up some time so that you could, have somebody at your high top and have a chat, and you could invite them for that chat. Those are things that will be very interactive during the virtual setup. I just, I got such great feedback from the session we did over the summer, which was a cyber health tech event, that we thought it was going to be a struggle for those that were virtual. But what we found is a couple of our panels and our speakers were physically here. And some of the rooms that we have set up around were rooms that people could actually watch the speaker, even though they maybe didn't want to sit in the larger room with the speaker and a group of people, but even kind of do a virtual, but still have the same question and interaction with the speaker. But because the speaker was here live on the site along with the panelists, there was greater interaction in their dialogue and discussion. And it just brought about a richer conversation. And we all know that this is a challenging space. I was attending the 2021 FBO Directors Forum, and the whole thing that they were talking about is resiliency. And over this past year, we've had over a 600% increase in cyber activity. And we really all need to band together so that we actually not only protect ourselves, but protect our businesses and protect our livelihood. And one way to do that is for us to be able to share and interact on what, and I don't want to always use the phrase best practices, but what works for our organization that has helped us, and what new technologies are coming out that we should be engaging in, because we know the bad actors are going to have access to some of the similar technologies and can move quite quick in this space.
Yeah, there's a distinct need for right now for people to be able to communicate more. We know that our adversaries are better communicators than we are. We know that because when you do threat intelligence and you see what they're up to, you're able to see the conversations and the planning and the crowdsourcing of resources in order to successfully initiate an attack and commit the crime at the time. And on the defensive side, we within the organizations, the white hat folks, the white collar, blue collar, hard working cybersecurity professionals, we tend to talk less. And I think that's one of the stigmas we really need to break right now in cybersecurity. And I hope this event will be a springboard to that, which is we not only need to communicate more, we need to communicate with more transparency and really be able to help each other support our mission for security within our organizations and business continuity.
You couldn't say more in this space about transparency. I think the binds that we have, sometimes there's this view that I'm dealing either with regulation or corporate media or something. And it's interesting that the bad actors in this space, they don't have to worry about any of that. And somehow or another, we need to get ourselves to where we can say, hey, it's okay to share. It's okay that somebody has heard that we've had an attempted breach or that we've tried something different, because there's so many companies in the financial space that are going through digital transformation, that we need to make sure that the cyber capabilities within those organizations are top notch. And how else are they going to do that unless they get out to see what's available to them and what others have been able to engage or try? And the best way to do that is to talk about it.
Yeah, it's a constant challenge though within the conversation piece, especially with COVID, because COVID has really limited the interactions between people. Now, we've interacted more with people, but we've been interacting virtually. And because we're cyber folks, we don't always trust the virtual aspect of our communication. We don't. We kind of know how secure and insecure we really are,
right? And
so we're less likely to speak, like as you described early on in the luncheon, that you do the kind of what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas type of conversations. Those are extremely rare in the virtual realm.
Well, I used to host these up in DC when I was with Blackberry, and I used to host them every quarter. And we'd get somewhere near 40-something plus agencies around the table because they never had an environment where they could sit across the table with each other and with a couple of commercial companies and just have a dialogue on what the threat vectors were and what are some of the available capabilities that exist for them. That interaction between industry and the government is important. And we get several government agencies that do attend these events. I can't share their names out loud because, of course, those of us in this space know that within 15 minutes of anything said or written down does get into the hands of sometimes the wrong people. So we always are guarding our words or guarding our information. But in this space, when we go in and we're in that unplugged space, there's no recording. It's just us in the room. I've worked with many of these companies and corporations on different issues that they've had. And, you know, I don't want to say call them out, but I actually bring the conversation up. Well, you guys had the same event or you had the same issue and you've seen this. And what did you do about that? How did you guys resolve this? How were you alerted to it? Are you using Tier 2 SOC? Do you have any of these other technologies that you're using? And we also expose them to some new technologies to let them see how some of the biometric capabilities for access controls are beefing up.
Yeah, there's in the security space, I always say we're constantly challenged. Innovation, we have to not only keep up pace with security, but also with technological innovation and some of the business transformation that goes on naturally within an organization. And the Cyber FinTech Challenge, the Cyber FinTech Conference, folks, is something where you're going to be able to really be part of some very critical conversations that are going to be done and really get some hands-on experience and find partners. I will say this, we still have some room for sponsors. So if you're interested in sponsoring the event, now would be the time. You can go to atpcyberfintech.com or cyberhubsummit.com and inquire there. You can contact me, Nashley, or Julie, either on LinkedIn or through email for sponsorship opportunities. We're definitely looking for the right partners for this event that can really integrate and showcase the versatility of what they're doing in the cybersecurity field.
Yeah, and I like that, Atlanta is seen as not only a cyber hub, but a fintech space. It's always good that we get, what's interesting is some of my roundtables, I've gotten like 7 or 8 of the big banks around the table just so that they can see what's happening in the fintech space. Because there's a lot of collaboration between the fintechs and the banking industry. And there, that collaboration, along with the cyber engagement, it just spurs a wonderful conversation and connections. Sometimes it's easier to connect with somebody if you see them speaking about a particular topic, or you've seen them engaged in a roundtable, and or you're participating in one of those roundtables. I have met some really good talent over the years at panel discussions or roundtable discussions that I've interacted with. So I've seen the benefit, and I think anybody listening to this podcast would also see that benefit.
Absolutely. Folks, the Cyber FinTech Challenge is going to be April 26th through the 28th of 2021. You can go to ATP Alpha Tango Paul cyberfintech.com. That's ATPCYBERFINTECH.com or cyberhubsummit.com to register. If you're interested in sponsoring, we would love and appreciate your support on this specific event. You can also do so by going to atpcyberfintech.com, cyberhubsummit.com, or contact me directly. My LinkedIn profile is linked below to the description of this podcast. If you are, I will say this, a few disclaimers. If you are a vendor trying to buy a ticket, you won't be able to. The only way, if you're in the cybersecurity space and you're in the sales or consulting space, the only way for you to take part of this event is to be a sponsor and supporter of the event. If you are in the financial services or fintech space and you are within the IT or cybersecurity team, you can go ahead and register now at any one at the website atpcyberfintech.com, or contact me directly and we'll get you registered as well. We're looking forward to seeing so many great people. Robin, I'm very excited to finally see people again and be out of my studio.
Me too. I've got several buds that I've worked with in the cyberspace and in the fintech space over the years that are physically going to be here. And even though we may still have to be 6 feet apart and have a mask on, maybe not when I'm having my glass of wine, but but when we're having a chat, it'll just be good to reconnect. So I look forward to seeing everyone either in person or virtually. So it'll be exciting.
Yeah, folks, and you'll definitely want to be there in person if you're into Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, or if you're able to fly in for a few days. Great hotels right around the tech park. Great restaurants nearby. Really, Peachtree Corner is a magnificent city. Curiosity Labs, the first free 5G lab in the country for innovation, I think is down the street from the tech park as well.
It is.
So, So some really great opportunities from a technology and security and a fintech perspective. Would love to see you there. If you're attending, you can get your tickets now. Go to atpcyberfintech.com and get your tickets today, or contact me or Robin, Nashley, Julie, or Corinne for more information. We would love to see you there. Robin, I want to say thank you so much for jumping on. We're going to do a bunch more of these leading up to the event. I'm very excited. Also in the month from basically mid-March until the event in April, we'll be doing a special podcast series with several of our sponsors and supporters of the event, as well as several of our speakers. So you'll want to be tuning in to Tech Corner during those weeks. We'll have some great content coming your way as well.
Yes. And we hope that you engage, because we need to build this community, and we need to have the engagement for those that are interested in building a strong community. So I look forward to having you register and participate.
Absolutely. Definitely don't want to miss the luncheon and the tabletop exercise and the CISO CIO roundtables with VPs and directors and practitioners. We're going to have roundtables on anything from mentoring and career development to, being a CISO and a leader to different technology roundtables. So you'll want to be part of those conversations. And some of these roundtables will be virtual to our virtual audience. You won't want to miss those as well. So Robin, again, thank you so much for being on the show. Folks, that's it for this week's Tech Corner. Short, sweet, to the point. But again, don't miss out on this event. You don't want to not be there. April 26th through the 28th of this year. atpcyberfintech.com or cyberhubsummit.com. You can contact me directly if you're interested in speaking or sponsoring or attending. Let me know how I can support you any way we can. Until next week, folks, we'll be back Monday with more practitioner briefs live 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. You'll want to tune in for those. Until next week, folks, enjoy the rest of your weekend and stay cyber safe.
Make sure to subscribe to our podcast and share it with your friends and colleagues. And get all the latest information at cyberhubpodcast.com.